Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Monday, someday in September 22nd. Wow. So I want to show you the Trump thing first. We're gonna get to her whole speech here. I started covering this yesterday, and I made a 4 hour video, which there's a great comment about that, and I was gonna take a day off. Because I mean, who can watch a 4 hour video in one day? I don't know if people, who has the time for that. It was not intentional, but it was, you know, I'll talk about that later. But I put up that yesterday on Sunday. So I was going to take the day off, but oh my God. So I'm going to try to make this video short. But let's start here. So she comes out here. Then they have these sparklers. They have sparklers. This is supposed to be a memorial for her dead husband. Oh my God, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Now she's coming out. She has bulletproof glass around her. I guess that's for Trump coming. Okay, so she comes out and takes a fucking bow, right? Now, like I said, I started covering her thing at the end of the last, this other thing. So here it is. Her speech is going to end here. And I don't know if they show it here.
I love you, Charlie, baby.
I love you, Charlie, baby.
And I will make you proud. God bless you all, and God bless America.
She gets a standing ovation, right? Let me find the whole thing here. All right, so we got the whole speech here. And down below they have text freedom to 716776. It's an 8 hour thing. And they're getting all kinds of donations in the super chats on YouTube and just all of it, right?
Halls of the RNC without $1 in his pocket and a single contact in his phone. People who saw him said that he didn't know what he was doing, but he did.
But he did. But he did.
He did know what he was doing.
He did know what he was doing. He did not know what he's doing. He totally knew what he was doing. He didn't. He knew what he was doing. Woo!
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He was going to change the world, and he did. Charlie's life was a turning point for this country. It was a miracle.
A miracle. A fucking miracle. A guy takes money from Israel to debate college students and tell them that it's okay that they're murdering Palestinian children. Holy shit, it's a miracle.
Let that miracle that was Charlie's life be your turning point as well.
Let it turn you as well. Let turning point. Like, she's such a bad actress. It's so, I want to show you the thing here.
Choose prayer. Choose courage. Choose beauty. Choose adventure. Choose family. Choose a life of faith. Most importantly, choose Christ.
Choose Christ. But most importantly, choose Christ. Like the fakeness here, right? I mean, people are weeping in the crowd. Like they're believing this. Like her acting is so bad. It's so fucking, disingenuous. The problem here is the people.
I love you, Charlie baby. And I will make you proud. God bless you all, and God bless America.
She bows, looking up to heavens. Charlie, you're up there somewhere, Charlie. Charlie, I dab my eyes a little bit. I want to smear my makeup. I mean, she's got, like, she's, wearing white and black. Like, this whole thing is, like a whole, but then she comes out. This is the part I want to talk about. This is the part I saw yesterday. She comes out and takes a bow. Like, she comes out. Oh my God, it's too much for me. I can't take it. It's too much. I can't bear it. And she pauses, right? So there's a, that she stands there. Like, she comes out, stands there, and it's, what this is? It's Instagram come to life. It's like her Instagram account, all these things, the photos, the dramatic things, and it's so superficial, so fake, so contrived. It's like the Instagram life, it's pretending like life is an Instagram post, right? That this grieving, it's been 10 days since he's died. And, I mean, they're going to make a fortune on this thing. Like, it's obscene. And, this whole, I mean, I can't believe that there's people who don't look at this and go, oh my God, right? This is so fake. This is so, and they're crying in the audience. And I said this thing about WWE. I realized when Trump got away with his fake assassination attempt, and it fucking worked. Like, this people eat this shit up. And it's in the last, there's 2 documentaries about WWE on Netflix. And it's like we have a WWE level of, like, consciousness where people want to, they know it's fake, but they want to see it. They want to see fake, bad, B-movie type fucking acting and, all of it. And so Trump comes out. Here they are, Trump and Charlie.
Please welcome to the stage the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
They got these fireworks. I mean, this is so gross. This is so ungodly. Like, this is what passes for godly now. This is what passes for holy. This is what passes for spirituality in this fucking cesspit of a country, right? All this stuff, grieving, all these things, it's a very personal thing. And it doesn't get better with more people doing it. Because it's your relationship with the people. And you needing comfort from people, you needing, love and support from people when you're grieving, when you're actually, sad. It's like this feeling of grief, right? It's a condition. Like you have anger, you have fear, you have hatred, you have compassion, you have love, and you have this feeling of sadness and grief and mourning, and it's you go into a state of shock and all these things, right? And, after 10 days, it's kind of gone, right? And, and then it's for people who know somebody, it takes like, I mean, if you're a person who's not, directly in Charlie's life, right? This guy, Charlie's life. I mean, if this thing, whatever it is, like, it's so fake now, it's hard to say that. I mean, it's such an operation. And we now know that they can feed Americans just complete shit and they'll lap it up. Like, we know this from the Trump assassination attempt. Like the fucking fake thing. the WWE style one, and how much it was obviously bullshit. And like nobody's calling it out in the media, of course, because they can't call it out. And they're lapping it up, especially these right wing conservative Trumpers. They'll lap up anything. They'll eat whatever shit that's out there. You know, Trump is clearly implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Clearly, like he's like whatever, bare minimum he knew, and celebrated it and didn't have a problem with it because he has his own thing with young women. And so he's also he's invoked martial law, done all the things he should as an American, especially all these people claim to be patriots. So there's that. But then there's Charlie Kirk, who comes in and he's political and he's, a shill for a foreign country, and he's like, just horrible. And, he's vouching for Trump and winning young people over to Trump. And whatever the fuck happened with this guy, now is all that information coming out about this thing being fake or whatever. And so Trump comes out and does this thing, right? And they got fucking fireworks. This is somebody's death. And he comes out to this shitty song that he came out with, that fucking maxi pad that was on his other ear, in the inauguration. This big, fat, obnoxious fuck coming out to these fireworks with this shitty song.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life.
The guy can barely fucking get this thing out. Look at this fucking spot. Like, this is so gross. It's so gross. It's obscene. Like, this is not how you memorialize somebody, right?
And I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
I don't know why am I fucking listening to this? Why am I listening to this, right? So I might come back and do some Trump speech stuff. We just look at something
from his youth, and he was an all-American in everything he did. And one of the last things he said to me is, "Please, sir, save Chicago."
Oh, shit. Oh my God, right? With your fucking troops and Patsy Comitatus. Oh my God, like I didn't even know this happened.
We're going to do that. We're going to save Chicago from horrible crime.
It's Chicago. I mean, it's otherwise Chicago is going to turn into an open air prison, and fucking it won't even be a city anymore. We'll have to block it off. It'll be like a crater. It was please, sir, save Chicago. Is that what he said to you? But the thing about it is, this is the part. Let me go to the other video. So this is where she comes from the side of the stage and she does this fake crying thing. And they're lapping it up. Like, these people are lapping it up. And from the comment section of the video, they're giving all kinds of money. Thank you. I know I can barely get through. Okay, it's going to take my dramatic. This is my moment. Okay. It's just it's just such a... When you act, you cheapen something. I think most people understand that. So Trump comes out, the sparkles are there, guy gets the hell, whatever it is. Guy gets that song, Trump comes out, does his thing. And then at the end of it, so I saw this last night, I was like, all right, because this was the image of him wrapping up here. There's an image of him hugging her. That was the thumbnail. Wait, there's that, where do you say?
For what you've done is incredible. And God bless Erika and the children. God bless the United States of America. And could I ask Erika, please come out. Erika?
Come on, Erika. Come out of here, Erika. Let's have a moment. Come on, I got to comfort you. I'm going to comfort you in front of all these millions of people watching this. Here's a moment of comfort. Here we go. There's a big hug. Here we go. Give me a kiss on the forehead. Give you 2 kisses. Look up there. Point up to Charlie. Charlie, I'm not trying to move in on your girl. I just. And then she comes in, right? She's like, oh, can I have a hug? And she's like, holding on. He's like, all right, that's enough. Like, just. You're too old for me. He's used to the Jeffrey Epstein girls. And, she won't let go. He's like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. She's patting her. She's like, all right. And he pushes her away here. Like, she's Christ, get off me. Get off me. And I'll give you another kiss on the thing. There we go. Yes, this is. Oh my God, so gross. It's so fake. I mean, he's just, he's like, he's a reptilian. He doesn't feel things. Like, he's not feel whatever. He didn't have any grief for Charlie because probably, they don't. Like, they don't know each other. They're all horrible people. And her thing is so fake, so beauty contest fake. And she gives the devil signs. She flashes the fucking devil sign, right? She puts up the devil's horns. I mean, this is like the fucking worst, right? I mean, the devil's horns are right fucking in your face. So this is a different angle. I don't have the stupid Forbes logo here. The hug, he pushes her away. Guys, all right, give her a kiss. Let's go over here together. There we go. We got the right camera. Where's the right camera? Oh, there we go. Let's got this. Okay. Look at that. Oh, I'm so sad. This is my sad face. I look it up, a sad face. I don't know, a sad face. I don't know, just my grieving face. There's Charlie. And there's a fucking devil's horns. I don't have a good view of it. They put this thing up there. I'll get the devil's horns in a better shot here. So here's the better version here. Let's make sure we're in the right camera. Where's the camera? Okay, there's the camera. Let's make sure we don't have this thing blocking us here. Let's get the best angle. I mean, it's obscene that they're still cheering for this fucking, Jeffrey Epstein best butter. Okay, oh, Charlie. Let's throw you devil's horns. Thanks, Charlie. Devil's horns, Charlie. Just, what the fuck? I mean, it's just so bad. Here we go. I gotta point up here. Let's go back to this the tad. Look, up there, Charlie's in heaven. Look, okay, now laugh. My grieving face is laughing. Look, devil's horns, Charlie. I'm so sad, Charlie, and I got the devil's horns for you, bro. Does she not know? And this fucking, I mean. Oh, give me another hug. Oh, your comfort, just so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, and good luck. God be with you. Thank you.
He's made his dance. He's mouthing his words. He's up there. Charlie's up there. He's up there somewhere. Somewhere up there in the ceiling. He's up there. I can't keep my grieving face on much longer. It's just so fake, and they got a camera guy right here to catch the moment. Taking photos of the back of his, I mean. Okay, get the fuck off the stage. I want to have a moment by myself here. Like the photo ops and it's just so fucking greasy, right? It was so fake. I mean, there's nothing like real grief. There's nothing real there. Oh my, just brutal. Okay, there's her thing. Just obscene. Okay, so I'm in the editing process, and rainy day here, rainy day here, and you know, so what people are saying is this is the "I love you" sign, which technically in American Sign Language is the sign for "I love you," which people often say that's what this is, especially when the thumbs out like she's doing, right? The problem with this is Charlie's not deaf; he's dead, right? He doesn't need sign language. And the bigger problem is this. The people that made the biggest stink about the devil horns and 666 are the Christians, right? So in the the book of Revelation, there is a reference to the Antichrist having 666 on various parts of like the base of his skull or somewhere else, the mark of the beast, right? It's the only place where they say 666. And a number of people, which I'm going to get to when I get to the comments at the end of the video, I'm going to get to her forgiving this guy too as well, right? But, they're always talking about Charlie Kirk was shilling for some Patriot Mobile company, and he said, faith, family, freedom. And the sixth letter of the alphabet is F, so that's 666, right? Three F words in a row. And, this idea of devil horns, Christians were always talking about this. These guys throwing up devil horns, Kiss and these other groups throwing up the devil's horns. And so Christians know what that means more than anybody else, and they're very sensitive to it. Like, look, that guy's throwing up devil's horns. I mean, they're very observant of it. And she would know that. Like, how does she not know that, right? That this could be construed as devil's horns. And that you'd have to explain, oh, no, this is the American Sign Language symbol for I love you. Yeah, but, we also know it as devil's horns, so why the fuck are you throwing it up, right? And so this is the kind of thing that, like, is she even really a Christian? Like, she even really know these things? Or is it just they're, doing it right in their face? And, like, she could do any number of obscene things, because after that performance and she gets a standing ovation. And Trump's unbelievably bad performance and the shit that he was saying, which I get into here in the rest of the video, these people are lapping it up. So it doesn't matter what they do, right? She can throw up the devil's horn. She can throw up the middle finger. Probably not the middle finger. But anyways, you get the idea here. Okay, so let me just add this. I went out shopping. I was in the middle of editing, and I realized I had to go shopping. And, I had a few interactions, and I was just noticing, not interactions, but I was just delayed by a few of my co-shoppers, and I was just looking around. After seeing these people, and you won't see it yet, but when she goes and says that she forgives this kid, and she does her performance, it fakes cries, and they give her standing O. Then later on, Trump goes, yeah, we're going for the death penalty, and they applaud him, this all this stuff's coming up in the video. But, the thing about this is when you're talking about grief and you're talking about your faith, your relationship with God, it can't really be performative. Now, there is things in society. If you go to a funeral and you don't really feel sad and you're there for other people who've lost somebody, but you don't feel anything, there's some level of performance that's expected of you. And it's difficult for me because I'm not good at delivering those performances, right? And I'm often, more often than not, if I'm put on the spot, I'll say the wrong thing. Because, you guys could probably figure out why, right? And so, there's those kind of things that you're supposed to do. And the people who are doing these things, they're supposed to look sad, and everyone's supposed to wear black. And there's just, you have a uniform you have to wear, kind of, and there's rules and regulations about what you're supposed to wear and what you're supposed to do. And so, yeah, that's performative, and you can't get around that. Those are what you do socially. And then when you're talking about God, there's a lot of rituals and things in churches and things that people say and do. I get into that in a voiceover, about the ritualistic aspect of church. Very, very performative. The pastor is supposed to perform, or the monk, or whatever it might be. There's some level of, these ritualistic behaviors, routine behaviors, and attitudes, and the people who are holy people are supposed to talk in a certain way and conduct themselves in a certain way, and it's just it's performative, but it's just how it's done. And I'm not saying it should be that way, but yeah, okay, if those things are acceptable because it's just you're doing what is the social norm. But when you have these events and you put on the kind of performance that this woman is, after what the performance she already gave, and it's so superficial, it's so fake, it's so, beauty queen, whatever it is, this, I mean, it's not at all genuine. And you're fake crying, then your whole relationship with your husband's in question, right? Because really, the genuine way of dealing with grief is whatever you feel like you can get, you can do, right? Like if you don't feel like you can go out in public, you don't go out in public. Or if you just feel like I don't want to fucking talk to people, I don't want them coming up and saying shit to me. I just want to hold it together. I want to be distracted at work. I don't want to, like that's how I was when, I found out my daughter committed suicide. I said, please, I don't want a bunch of comments and whatever, especially like if somebody watches my video 2 years from now and just reminds me of something. I'm dealing with it my own way, and I don't need, people aren't going to make it better. There's nothing anybody can say to make it better. You just got to go through it, right? And her fawning over the, her pandering or performing for the audience and getting reactions and having all these people and having more people there. Losing your husband, none of those things would matter, right? If 70,000 people showed up at his funeral or one showed up at his funeral, it doesn't fucking matter, right? That's not going to make it better. If you really love somebody, you lose them. And the grief process takes whatever time it takes, and you go through it whatever way you choose to go through it. And it's just that, like that's all it is, right? It's just a, something you get through. But if you're fake crying and you're emoting in a way and you're making all these faces and you're saying things and, it's all contrived and superficial and, just performative, then like that's fucked. Like it's abhorrent, right? It's like you're like a reptilian. You're not even, you can't behave like a normal human, right? And when you're doing it and you're making bank and you're bringing in donations and you're growing your organization and you're using his death as a martyr and claiming sainthood for a guy who clearly wasn't a saint. And the other part about this is people have whatever desire to connect to God. Like people have that intuitively, naturally in their system to whatever degree. And when you utilize that and you pretend to be somebody you're not, you pretend to be a person of God, and you're using that, what people, their internal desire or need to have a relationship with divinity, like that's also fucked. And when you use God as an excuse for your political views, or you back politicians and you basically say that God wants this politician and not the other, well, that's clearly not the case because Trump is not a godly man and neither was Joe Biden. And so like all those things are abhorrent, right? It's just egregious, right? And so this is why these things are always worse for me, because whenever God's involved, you can be a piece of shit, but admit you're a piece of shit. But when you pretend to be godly and you use these religious and, spiritual, whatever, talks and attitudes and, want special treatment and pretend to be something you're not, and then con people who are, thinking you're a godly person, then that's fucked. So anyways, let's get back to it here. Okay, so the word martyr is used 14 times in this event. I thought it might be more.
Charlie's assassin thought that he could steal and silence his voice by putting a bullet in his neck. In the words of Soren Kierkegaard, the tyrant dies and his rule is over. The martyr dies and his rule has just begun.
Boom. The martyr dies and his rule has just begun. Do you think the assassin really was shooting for his neck? Was that, I mean, as much as that was real or whatever, like, you think that, and that's what the guy thought, like, that's what's going through his mind. I can steal his voice by shooting him in the neck. Like, so greasy, right? This whole thing. I mean, just really bad. There's one thing with Erika, Kirk, I want to get to. Let's do the martyr thing here first. Here it's reference number 2.
And that is the power of martyrdom. Because Charlie Kirk is a martyr in the true Christian tradition.
He's a martyr in the true Christian tradition. He was not killed for his Christianity, right? He was not killed for that. Like, by any measurable standard, he was killed the real reason he's killed is a distraction in this whole thing. Like, there's a whole movement afoot, a really fucked up movement afoot, right? This is really obscene, and it's got nothing to do with God. But the official story is this kid, and whatever reason he killed him, it isn't because he wanted to make him a martyr. It isn't because God wanted this to happen to make him a martyr. I mean, this is so contrived and so, whatever, manipulated. But the kid, was upset by Charlie's views on, like, whatever it is, gay marriage or gays or trans or whatever. That's the official story. The guy, the individual crazy lone gunman story. And so this isn't about anything to do with martyrdom. This isn't anything to do with it, about him being a Christian.
If you take out a tyrant, his power goes away. You cut down a martyr, his power grows.
Oh, it grows. Look at these fists of martyrdom fury here. These fists of martyrdom fury.
And that's what we see. Time and time again, we're seeing it across this country. Who's seen the full churches, the full parking lots? Who knows somebody now who's a Satanist or an agnostic, who's now looking at Charlie's life in this revival moment in our country and going,
wait, there's a lot of Satanists coming back to church because of Charlie's death. Did you just say that there's agnostics and Satanists packing churches now because of Charlie's great example? It's a revival of Charlie. And it's a dumb fuck-a-thought out here, right? Like,
maybe I got it all wrong. Maybe I do need to Christ center my life.
Maybe I got it all wrong with worshiping Satan. I mean, after seeing Charlie shot in the neck, I'm like, hey, maybe this Satan thing isn't as cracked up as it's all cracked up to be.
This is what Charlie always wanted. This is how he wanted to be remembered.
He wanted to be shot in the neck, and he wanted to be martyred.
In the mold of Stephen, the first martyr, Stephen was killed for speaking the truth about Christ, much like Charlie Kirk. The martyr Stephen was the same age as Charlie Kirk when he was martyred.
I think this is the most of the references to martyrdom here. I thought there were 14 different people saying martyrdom. This guy's really wearing out the martyrdom here.
At that time, Christianity was just a few very scared Christians in Jerusalem. And after Stephen's martyrdom, Christianity spread throughout the known world.
What about Jesus' martyrdom?
The power of martyrdom.
It's the power of martyrdom.
This is how God and Christ always advances his kingdom, and he's doing it right now with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, right now. It's martyrdom power all over the place. I'm going to the backstage and I'm gonna spill some martyrdom power in the dressing room.
It is a wonderful thing to see. We were all witness.
We're all witness to that martyrdom blood coming out, the fake blood coming out.
To a miracle.
To a miracle of martyrdom.
Charlie's life was a miracle. We could all see it. Those who worked up close and those who watched from far away.
We all saw it. It was a miracle happening. We took that, all that money from Israel, and he promoted the genocide of the Palestinian people. He tried to con high school, college students into voting for Trump, who's a fucking demon. It was just a miracle. It's a fucking miracle. It's a miracle everywhere.
We got to witness a miracle in Charlie's life. Someone who was there that day when Stephen was martyred was Saul.
Saul was there.
Saul was the one who was taking the garments so that Stephen could be killed. And through Stephen's martyrdom, the Apostle Paul was reached by Christ to go out and write the majority of the New Testament. There was no one who was irredeemable.
Yeah, he was knocked off a horse in Damascus. Like, that's the actual story. But Stephen's martyrdom, Saul was touched by his martyrdom.
And that is what Charlie would have wanted us to know about his faith in Jesus Christ. The power of Christ's blood and the power of martyrdom speaks through Charlie.
That's it, the power of martyrdom.
The Apostle Paul would go on to write the book of Romans.
Okay, holy shit. So, this guy's the big martyrdom guy. But they're really pushing this martyrdom thing. But Trump and I guess this is it for the martyrdom. This guy used up all 14. He used 13 of the 14 martyrdom words that I found in the transcript. So this guy who was there, he got in on the martyrdom.
Last week, Charlie joined a long line of courageous men and women who were martyred for what they believe.
No way. They were martyred. Yeah.
According to the book of Acts, the first martyr in the early Christian church was Stephen.
Stephen was.
Who was stoned
Tell me about this Stephen.
to death. And as Stephen was being killed, he said, "Behold, I see the heavens opened and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God."
You mean when he was getting stoned to death, and that's what he said. Somebody recorded it. Like, he's getting hit in the head by he's getting hit in the head by stones, right? And he says, you know what he probably said? Ouch. He's getting stoned. People are stoning him to death, right? He's standing in like a circle, and people are taking stones and throwing them at him until he dies. You know, this is how fucking barbaric these motherfuckers were. Crucifying people, and it's not like we're better now, we're worse. But crucifying people, I mean torturing people and stoning them to death. Like fucking, you know, for whatever his beliefs. And, you know, again, this is whatever was real or not. And they said whilst he's being stoned, he's saying, "I'm okay." He's not saying ouch. He's saying, "I see the heavens opening up and Jesus, the Son of Man, is standing there."
Now, there are many times in the Bible where Jesus is seated at the right hand of God.
Because, you know, he has got a body.
But this is the only time he's seen standing. And while the Bible isn't explicit about...
Could it be that Stephen was a little bit delirious because he just got hit in the head by a stone? Maybe Jesus was actually seated, but he's like, you know, he's concussed because he's dying from being hit by stones. That maybe he's not seeing things correctly.
About this, I like to think Jesus was standing to welcome Stephen, the courageous martyr, into heaven.
Kaboom! So they used up 3 martyrs there. And they're going to applaud here. Woo! Woo! There's nobody more greasy than this guy right here. He's just so fucking greasy. He's the worst of the worst. Like, he's even worse than his dad. This greasy, just disgusting person. You know, they don't have a body. They don't, you know, when you go to heaven, when you die, your soul leaves your body. There's no standing, there's no sitting. This is dumb fuck stuff, right? Like, dumb fucks they think kings are really great. You know, that being a king is something wonderful, right? And so, you know, the whole thing, you know? And so it's not a wonderful thing being a king because, you know, it's a bad thing. It's, you know, I mean, you could be a good king, but for the most part, it's a bad system, right? It's elitism. And so people of that time thought kings were great. And so God's sitting on a throne somewhere because God is the King of Kings. Jesus is the Son of Kings, King of Kings, whatever. And so it's just for people, remedial people of that time. Here's the big reference to him being a martyr here.
My friends, for Charlie, we must remember that he is a hero to the United States of America, and he is a martyr for the Christian faith. May our Heavenly Father give us the courage to live as Charlie lived. That is what we must do for Charlie. You ran a good race, my friend. I love you. We've got it from here. Thank you.
We've got it from here, Charlie. We'll take over, you big martyr, you. You big martyr. But not only was he a martyr, he was a superman. He was superhuman. So this is from Fox News. They put this out. Prove me wrong thing is obnoxious and it's annoying. Surgeon says Charlie Kirk's body stopped a bullet in an absolute miracle that saved others. TP USA says. And so, you know, he had a miracle. Like somehow his body was like it wasn't bulletproof because, you know, he had to be martyred and all. But it was like bullet not being able to pass through. Like it wasn't like the bullet bounced off of him and he was still alive like some kind of real superhuman. But it's like the bullet went in and it wouldn't come back out. Like Charlie could have absorbed thousands of bullets and they all would have been blocked because he wanted to make sure that his body was making sure it wouldn't hit other people. But, you know, it wouldn't do anything for himself in this miracle, this Superman, right? So they called him a Superman and something else. You know, the absolute miracle here, and then Superman. His body just blocked that bullet. It's amazing. I mean, unfortunately, going in, his body can't do anything. But going out, it can't stop any bullet. Okay, here it is.
Really passionately wanted to reach and save the lost boys of the West.
But not the lost boys of the East, South, and the North, but just the Western lost boys. He liked them lost boys of the West.
The young men who feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no faith, and no reason to live.
Those lost boys.
The men wasting their lives on distractions, and the men consumed with resentment, anger, and hate.
She's looking up here.
Charlie wanted to help them.
It's not.
He wanted them
I got a video from yesterday I want to put up, you know, that he thinks she's...
have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking.
Right there for the taking.
He wanted to show them that.
He did. He did want to show them that.
My husband, Charlie.
I have a moment of grief here. Just pause it for a moment of grief.
He wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life.
So here she's convicting the guy. She has these fucking demon eyes, these steely demon eyes with the, you know, I mean, these moments of acting, right? Like the grief face, and then this is her willful face, and I mean, it's just like so fucking bad. But she's convicting this kid, right? Like the kid's already guilty. Like there's no, and you know, I mean, there's more here that everybody kind of could see that there's lots of unanswered questions. But she's convicting this kid. Woo! I mean, it's unfortunate this kid could have been saved by Charlie, the one guy who could have saved him, and he shot him in the neck and martyred him.
That young man.
That young man, Charlie, that young man. Charlie, can you hear me about the young man? Let me look up, Charlie. I'm going to throw the devil horns up to you later, Charlie.
Young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do.
He said it. He said it.
That man. That young man.
That young man. That young man. That young man. That young gay man who's banging a transgender, who lives with a transgender. That young gay man. That young gay man, Charlie.
I forgive him.
I forgive him. I forgive him. I fucking forgive him. I fucking forgive him. Oh my God, that was so badly performed.
I forgive him.
I do. I fucking forgive him. Woo! Oh my God, these guys are crying here. Look at this fucking, oh my God. They lapping that shit up. Like, why is, like, come on. I do forgive him. You gay young man with your transgender boyfriend, I forgive you. That's why I said that was so bad.
That young man. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man. That young man.
That young man.
I forgive him.
How do you not see that's fake? How do you not see that is fucking fake? That is like bad acting. It's like, how do you not see that? Like, how do you like, how fucking stupid are we now? How WWE idiocracy are we that this is, I'm sure this would have been lapped up in other times, but like, how do you not see that this is not real? She's getting a standing O for this. I mean, people are buying into this. Let me dab my eyes here. Oh, just take a deep breath. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Just, this is so fucking bad. Like, this is just, there's no hope, right? Like, this is what they're rolling out. You know, this is over. Like, you know, this America's fucked. Like,
I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do.
what would Charlie do?
The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
He wasn't persecuting you. Like, let's say the story's real, which we know it's not. You know, whatever this guy's thing was going on, which of course it's not real, like the whole thing, he's not being persecuted. And I talk about this. This is, I have a video clip from yesterday. I just happened to tune into this thing, and she was talking about being persecuted. That somehow they're being treated different because they're Christian. And it's not that, right? People just suck, right? This is not, it's a degraded time. But this thing about forgiving them, you know, like, yeah, that's great. And I've talked about, you don't, hated and resentment is, you know, something internalized, which is, you know, it's an internalized thing. But it's not, forgiveness isn't performative, right? It isn't something to perform. Can we let this kid out then? Does he have to go to jail? Right? Trump isn't going to forgive him.
Thank you for watching.
Boom. So they just cut it off right there. All right, you got another clip from Erika from yesterday where I talk about her saying this thing about persecution. I wanted to find out what Trump said about Charlie's murderer. I'm sure he's not as forgiving. But he said this here.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Lee. You've been there from the beginning with us, Lee, and we Appreciate it. Nobody can sing that song like Lee Greenwood. Thank you very much, Lee.
Yeah, it's his song. Nobody can sing that shitty song like Lee Greenwood. You know, the song he wrote and performs everywhere and is known for. Like, nobody sings that song like Lee. Lee's the best. That's his. That's his one thing. Let's see if Donald J. Trump is in the forgiving mood.
Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered by a radicalized, cold-blooded monster for speaking the truth that was in his heart. He was violently killed because he spoke for freedom and justice.
Cold-blooded. The cold-blooded monster leads me to believe that Trump isn't going to be forgiving him.
God, country, for reason and for common sense. He was assassinated because he lived bravely, he led boldly, and he argued brilliantly without apology. He did what was right for our nation. And so on that terrible day, September 10th, 2025, our greatest evangelist for American liberty became immortal.
He became immortal.
He's a martyr now for...
No, he did say martyr.
Our freedom. I know I speak for...
I thought they all did the martyr, so like, you know, that somehow they weren't able to get all the martyrs. He's a martyr now. He's just so sucks at his speech, and he can't do something like this because he's so fucking dead inside. Like, he's so clueless about, you know, grieving. Those things.
One here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history.
Woo! Just so bad. So I wonder if she did the martyr thing. And it didn't pick it up on it. Let me see if I can find her saying martyr. I just, you know, I want to kind of wrap this up. It's just so bad. See if he says anything else about the killer here. So Trump isn't as forgiving as Erika Kirk.
As you know, the depraved assassin who planned and executed Charlie's killing has been arrested and charged with capital murder. God willing, he will receive the full and ultimate punishment for his horrific crime. It's a terrible thing.
Woo!
Because you can't let that happen.
We forgive you.
You can't let that happen. Can't let it happen to a country. The Department of Justice is also...
Okay, so what he just did there, I mean, this is completely fucked. Because every person deserves a fair trial. And there's circumstantial evidence that they've released into the public. And he's been convicted. Like, you know, and these psychological operations, they just railroad these motherfuckers. You know, if they don't, usually they're dead, and that makes it easier. But then they don't give them their day in court. They railroad the motherfucker. You know, there's no whatever. They don't want to rehash it, and they don't want to give the guy a chance to speak, because you never know what the guy's going to say. But this person is like doesn't have a voice, and he's been convicted. Like she's forgiving him, like, you know, like it's a fact that he killed this guy, right? I mean, we have a completely contaminated, compromised crime scene, and just all these suspicious things that were happening, and a history of them lying and staging these things. Of course, that's not the official story, but either way, this guy has a right to a fair trial, and the president coming in saying he deserves a fucking death penalty, this fucking, you know, calling him names and shit, a monster and these other things. And, you know, I mean, it's just, it can't happen. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do. Anyways, so that's Trump. Okay, just want to read a few comments, and then I'll be done with this video because it's just obscene. I said to my wife, it's perverse, and she said, yeah, that's a good word for it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not totally sure what that word means. But it's very perverse. Just look at this stadium. All I can say is they really messed up. There's no stopping what's coming. You mean a parade of fucking dumb fucks? Is that what you're saying? A parade of dumb fucks following these Judas goats over the fucking cliff? Is that what you're talking about? That's what's coming? Because, you know, this isn't like some kind of movement. And who's they? they really messed up. So you don't believe in the official story. The story that Trump and Erika Kirk are saying this guy did it. There's nothing more to see here. There's nothing more to look into. It's just this one kid. And so it's one kid. They didn't mess up. Like, who you think the kid and Satan and his transgender roommate? Is it the Trinity of Satan, the gay kid, and his transgender roommate? Are they the they? I mean, just it's a parade of dumbasses, right? Parade of dumb fucks. Like, it's so fake. It's so fucking not real. It's just like gross. It shows you how like low human beings are. How much they're manipulated, how much they're conned. I mean, it's just like there's no hope here. I mean, this is what God is for people now. This is how people think about God. In something that there was no God involved in that. There's no God energy. There's no divinity. God isn't a part of that thing at all. I mean, they all talk about God and they talk about Jesus, but they're not part of that gaudy. I mean, it's fucking gross, right? And that they think they won something, right? Oh, well, now he's been martyred. We're gonna go. It's just a degraded. I mean, if as much as you want to talk about the liberals being degraded, that was at least they're not bringing God into it. At least they're not bringing God into their perversions. And you got this guy, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, is up there and doing his Trump stuff, and he's just an abomination. You guys are lapping it up, fucking lapping that shit up. Okay, so 2 more video clips here. One I shot yesterday. It's Erika Kirk. Just some clip that was on, like I said. And I think it pales in comparison to all this other stuff. And there's probably a lot more here that's equally as bad. But YouTube recommended this guy. Jesus with the gaudy bracelet. The jewelry and the whole thing, right? All this bling. There's a lot of bling here. A lot of bling in modern day bogus Christianity here. But this dude.
Can we sing this chorus one more time?
One more time.
I know a lot of us are on the phone.
Wait, did God take away your buttons? Like, I mean, just the bling here, right? The jewelry. This necklace, all this stuff. And
phones, and a lot of us are taking this in. But if we could have one moment with all of our attention pointing to the one who created us, who loves us the most, and nothing that you could do could ever make him love you any less, any more. Can we give him just about 30 seconds of our undivided attention?
Just 30 seconds for that guy. I mean, for that guy, can we get 30 seconds? I mean, that guy who created us and loves us and all those things. Can we get at least 30 seconds for him? I know we've had 8 hours of bullshit up here, but can we get 30 seconds for that guy?
Attention as we sing this chorus with our hands to the heavens today.
Put your hands up to the heavens because that makes a difference. If your hands are up towards the heavens, it means so much more. Get your hands up, motherfuckers. Throw up those devil's horns.
Surrendering everything that we're feeling, that we're facing, that we're wrestling with, knowing that he is sovereign, he is higher, we can trust him. Come on, let's worship him here.
Let's worship the shit out of this guy, that guy. So 30 seconds, get 30 seconds.
Every voice, every hand, you take it away. So I throw up my head, praise you again.
I don't know the words. Look at these praying motherfuckers. Look at these guys up on stage. Pray you.
I know it's not nothing else.
Look at him. Look at him. He's rocking the house. All right. 30 seconds for this guy. Can we get it? 30 seconds is all I'm asking. Okay, so greetings, brothers and sisters. Today is Sunday, September 21st. I just want to do this quickly. I'm pretty tired. I missed made a 4-hour video. But look at this over here. Look at the comments. Look at this fucking bullshit. Look at just brutal. So I crossed out a video, like some video I used in my last video. And then this one opened up and it was on her talking. Erika Kirk. It's got 600,000 viewers watching, and then all the people on there, get a packed house. Got all these people giving money up here, like, lots of people posting crosses. Just crazy fucking activity over here.
Here I am, Lord. Send me.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. That's not what I want to respond to.
Hello. God bless all of you for coming here from all over the world
Are you still going to fake
to
cry?
honor and celebrate my Charlie.
My Charlie. Celebrate my Charlie. Whew. Gotta take a deep breath here. They're digging her. They're not, they didn't, well, some of them are. Look at the packed house. Look at this. Look at the merch. They got
Just
merch.
a few miles from here,
They got merch down here.
2 years ago at America Fest 2023, Charlie delivered a speech on stage for our TPUSA Faith event. Charlie loves speaking off the cuff. He's very good at that.
Give a little smile.
Without a script. So I personally didn't know
I never use a script, just so you guys know. I just wing it every day.
what he was going to say. And what he chose to speak about that day was his submission to the will of God.
And also to Israel for the money they're giving him. So also God, but mostly Israel.
He quoted one of his favorite Bible verses, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. Here I am, Lord. Send me.
What's wrong with her eyes? Her eyes look kind of alien-like.
After Charlie finished, I met him backstage, and I spoke to him, and I'll never forget this. I said,
I can't wait till you die so I can take over this. I can't wait till you die so I can take over the ship.
Charlie, baby, please talk to me next time before you say that statement. Because when you say something like that, there is so much power in that verse.
It's just so powerful.
When you say, here I am, Lord, use me, God will take you up on that.
And you better ask permission because, I want you to do shit too. I mean, I want you to say the same thing to me because I want you to do... I don't want you just serving God.
And he did with Charlie.
He did. He took him up on it. Woo!
"11 days ago, God accepted that total surrender from my husband and then called him to his side.
Is that what you're calling this, right?
More than anything, Charlie wanted to do not his will, but God's will. And over these past...
So was it God's will to support... the problem for Charlie Kirk is he took money from Israel. That's what I always say now. He worked for Israel, and he talked college kids out of their protesting against the genocide of the Palestinian people. He also pushed for martial law, and he pushed Trump. He conned college kids into believing Trump was something other than what we all now know what he is, right? And then still has refused to acknowledge that was a mistake. And now he can't. So he was actually wrong on a bunch of shit in a bad way.
7 days. Through all the pain, never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, "Thy will be done."
Thy will be done. Woo! Okay, get a little tissue. You got some snot.
God's love was revealed to me on the very day my husband was murdered.
I thought it was God. God was calling him back home.
On the afternoon of September 10th, I arrived at a Utah hospital to do the unthinkable, to look directly at my husband's murdered body. I saw the wound that ended his life. I felt everything you would expect to feel.
Boy, look, she's angry.
I felt shock.
Anger?
I felt horror.
Anger?
And a level of heartache
Anger?
that I didn't even know existed. But there was something else too.
Anger?
Even in death, I could see the man that I love. I saw the one single gray hair on the side of his head,
I
which
said, boy, I dodged a bullet. He's getting old.
never told him about. Now he knows.
Now
Sorry.
he knows. Now he knows. He's pissed about it.
Baby, telling you now, but
Telling you
never
now,
told
baby.
him.
Let me wipe
Didn't
the
want
snot
to.
first. Got a little bit.
I also saw this. I also saw on his lips the faintest smile,
Oh, my God.
and that told me something important.
That's the coroner was fucking around with his lips.
It revealed to me a great mercy from God in this tragedy. When I saw that, it told me
I
Charlie
got to stop taking mescaline.
didn't suffer. Even the doctor told me it was something so instant that even if Charlie had been shot in the operating room itself, nothing could have been done.
Nothing could be done. Nothing. They couldn't have done nothing. I'm waiting for this thing to come up.
There was no pain, there was no fear, no agony. One moment Charlie was doing what he loved, arguing and debating on campus,
With college-age kids.
fighting for the gospel.
Fighting for the gospel. Fighting for it. He fought for that freaking gospel.
And truth.
And truth. Truth, too. The gospel, but even truth. The gospel and truth.
In front of a big crowd,
In front of a big crowd.
and then he blinked.
And boom, he was dead. And then he would disappear under the stage, and now we went home and we said, we pulled it off.
He blinked
Light. Yes, light.
and saw his Savior in paradise.
Boom, you did it. You're just moving me to tears. I got a little tear there.
And all the heavenly mysteries were revealed to him. God's love continued to be revealed to me in the days that followed.
Snot. I got some snot.
The next day on the tarmac in Air Force Two, I confronted Usha Vance, precious woman.
Precious woman. Precious. She's so precious. She's so fucking precious.
I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how I am going to get through this.
And I was, I could have done with other people, but they were, not as famous and not as important, so I waited for her.
She told me something.
Is the camera on?
She said, you know when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight and things are crazy, kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming, and you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land.
So I can beat the shit out of these kids.
And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes.
Because, your kid's throwing fucking toys around a plane. It's kind of like your husband being shot in the throat. It's pretty much equal.
And the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then.
But that just really, it made me real. I'm not going to say it.
But those words were exactly what I needed to hear.
They were exactly what I needed to hear. Those were unbelievable words.
But most of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting.
Again, trying to put down the Democrats and George Floyd when these are rich white people who own shit, and are for the police. Where, again, I'm not defending the George Floyd riots, but I'm saying you can't compare the two things. I said this in my video yesterday. Like, they keep on saying this. My video today that's going up today, but when you guys see it, it'll be yesterday. And so someone on the thing with Tucker Carlson said the same thing. The reason that they riot is because they feel like they are, for one, those riots were, propagandized and funded. But it's because, and there was a whole thing to do with Trump. That was they were doing that so Trump would think it was okay to storm Capitol Hill on January 6th, and so was his dopey followers. But that was, all those things were staged. They had shills in the audience, all those things. But in those riots, it's because they believe that the government and the police are targeting them, which there's truth to that. So it's not the same fucking thing. Because these are rich white people who own things. They're not going to go burn down buildings owned by other white people, right? And they're not, I mean, one thing if, where they're going to go to like a transgender bar and, have a riot, it's silly. They have the law on their side and now they're going to get payback another way. You don't think you guys are going to get payback for this thing? You don't think the liberals and the gay community are going to pay for this, right? Woo! Look at them all cheer that. Look at them fucking cheer that, like how much better we are than the BLM people. Look at this fucking guy, this miserable
We
fuck.
didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival.
Yeah, we did. Boy, she's so annoying. I don't know how long she could. I guess there's people who dig this shit, right? I guess they're digging this. I mean, she's so performative, so fucking fake and contrived.
This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade.
No way. Did they?
We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives.
Boy, they're really pushing this motherfucking guy. Holy shit, it's been 10 days. He's got a holiday already. She's getting more jewelry. I mean, she's going to go get some more bling.
Charlie liked to journal. And I say this because
I'm waiting for I think I went back too far.
he did it to remember important moments and sayings that affected him. And one of the things he wrote in his journal was this.
My wife is crazy, and I think she's going to cut off my... my fake stage wife, my CIA wife, she's crazy, and I'm worried that she's going to dismember me in the middle of the night.
Every time you make a decision, it puts a mark on your soul.
Some scars.
To those of you out there who just made that decision and took the first step toward a spiritual life,
Religious life.
I say thank you and welcome.
Someday you can be like me. They got this stuff going beneath the thing that says merch.
One day I hope you
won't be able to see it because I'll make this thing, I'll make this big, but on the bottom, they got a thing so you can click on and get merch.
back and realize it was the most important decision of your life.
I mean, they're literally pitching merch while she's, talking about this as a martyr.
Because it is. All of you,
Thank you. Thanks.
all of you who are already believers, it is your job to shepherd these people.
Believers? Is Justin there?
Do not take that lightly.
You got to shepherd these sheep in here. We're gonna have an influx of sheep.
Water the seed of their faith. Protect it and help it grow.
Yes. Whisper.
Every day as Charlie rode into the office, he would go through his contact list. And I know there's many of you who were impacted by this. He would go through his contact list and send Bible verses for the day.
What a guy.
He knew that faith was a habit. The more you live it, the more it grows. But know this too. The seed has only just been planted. The enemy will tempt you the most in a time like this one.
Exactly. Satan.
God will always be there for you, but you must choose to mark your soul again and again in the direction of Christ.
Woo! What's the snort snot? I think it just says Christ.
Pray again. Read the Bible again. Go to church next Sunday and the Sunday after that, and break free from the temptations and shackles of this world.
Because, you know, they're not tempted by money from foreign governments and merch that they're selling, or the jewelry that she has, and the millions of dollars they're scamming off of people. They're grifting. Yeah, there you go. I'm a martyr. I'm a martyr.
Being
wife.
a follower of Christ is not easy.
It's not fucking easy.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to be easy. It's not. It's not.
Jesus said, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. He said he would be persecuted. He said we would be persecuted. And Charlie knew that and happily carried his cross all the way to the end. And I want all of you to know.
Okay, so she's claiming they were persecuted. They were not treated any worse than anybody else doing what they're doing. It wasn't because of their faith. It was because of people being pissed at them telling, you know, the college kids that it was okay for the Israeli army to to kill Palestinian children and murder them, and backing all these other things, Trump and the rest of it, right? And so they, you know, everyone catches shit on the internet. It's a brutal place. And they're not any more persecuted than anybody else. I heard that shit. I couldn't believe that she was, you know, claiming that. I mean, I could believe it, just like the other thing that she said. But they weren't any more persecuted than anybody else on the internet. But because of their religious faith, people just don't give a shit anymore. You know, maybe they mock you, whatever, but they mock you for what? It's just a brutal place. Like, everybody knows it. You know, they weren't persecuted. This was, you know, maybe there's some death threats, maybe there's some other things. Other people suffer the same thing, right? And, you know, he said things that were obnoxious and I mean, demeaning to the liberal people. And so, yeah, of course you're going to catch shit for that. But that's just fucking modern day internet life.
While Charlie died far too early, he was also ready to die.
He was ready.
There was nothing.
Especially when we handed him the script. He said, yeah, okay.
Nothing he was putting off. There was nothing that was too hard or too painful or nothing that he just felt like he didn't want to do it. He left this world without regrets.
He did. He had no regrets, except, you know, his marriage. All right, so that was what I wanted to comment on. Okay, so this is going to be the introduction to the 216th edition of the Journey series. I'm going to put that 4-hour video in my 215th Journey series. And, you know, I want to talk about God being subtle. Like, one of the core teachings of the Sage-Mark system is God is subtle. And to achieve God, you have to use subtle means, right? Which is, you know, meditation being the sort of, you know, most important part of that, where you're quiet everything down and, you know, if you're meditating properly and able to connect to God. And in our society, it's just full of lights and bling. And, you know, I remember driving into Texas when I was living in New Mexico, and we were driving at night, and there's a gas station. It was blinding. It was just a gas station, and it was blinding. But everything's over the top and gross and, you know, in your face and loud. and, all of it, right? And, our religion has, I think degraded some. There's always been flim-flam people, but the reason that there's people who, go over the top with these gaudy churches and these, these in-your-face type personalities, braggadocious people, and, this. If you look at the stuff with Erika, Kirk, and you look at Trump and his, Trump bought into these Miss USA pageant that she was a part of. And if you look at the pageant stuff, it's just so stupid. Like, I couldn't sit through those shows the same way I couldn't sit through a WWE wrestling thing, right? Because it's just over the top, gross, and dumb. It's just dumb. It's stupid. And, this religion for stupid people, very in your face, gaudy, very performative. And people eat that shit up, right? And I've said this over and over again. The people that can actually experience or participate in something subtle, because God is subtle, right? God isn't over the top with this grandiose bullshit and these, whatever it is, lights and fireworks and bands and music and, robes, dressing up, all the, the bling and all this shit that they put on here. That impresses people, but it's not very godly and doesn't, certainly impress God or connect you to God, because it's gross. It's materialism, right? This is materialism. And, Master Chargy, the third master of the system, I think he wrote a book called My Master, and I think it's in that book. But somewhere he wrote or said this. He talked about how, it's in that book, so he wrote it. He talked about how, okay, so I now have a microphone. It seems to be working, microphone stand. This is called The Way of the Spirit, and it's going to start from the beginning here of the chapter. From time immemorial, the religious life has been held up as a summit of human existence, as the summit of human existence. This has been so in all of the nations of the world, primitive and advanced. Religious activity has ever been described as the highest type of human activity, and the religious life per se extolled as the perfect culmination to all human endeavor. There has always been a special halo around the initiated aspirant, and naturally the ordained priests enjoyed a far higher special status of their own. The power and prestige of the priesthood of the clergy was often of such magnitude as to eclipse that of the temporal rulers of the times. India has had more than its fair share of religions, having given birth to two of the world's great systems, Hinduism and Buddhism. India has also been one of those countries where religion has permeated into practically every sphere of human existence. The Hindu religion takes hold of the individual soon after this conception and releases him only after he is dead, his body cremated, his ashes ceremoniously offered into the water of the river or the sea. Every aspect of the individual's life in between these two extreme situations is governed by rituals appropriate to the occasion. The great seers of India, the rishis, have bifurcated the holy life into two distinct approaches to reality: the ritualistic life and the contemplative life. The texts of Hinduism are correspondingly categorized, and the Vedas themselves come under this categorization. The earlier parts, dealing almost exclusively with rituals, are classified under the term karma kanda. Karma kanda, K-A-N-D-A. The latter portion of the Vedic text, the Gnana kanda, dealt mostly with mental and higher aspects of man's approach to his maker. They are commonly called Vedanta, translated to mean the end of all knowledge. Vedanta does not merely mean that this part of the Vedic teaching comes at the serial end of the Veda. It means that here is contained such knowledge as considered to be the end of all knowledge, the very acme and essence of knowledge. The rishis have also taught very clearly and emphatically that the ritualistic religious life is the lower aspect of man's existence, whereas the contemplative life is extolled as the higher and purer one. The texts themselves are explicit in their statement that for formal rules and restrictions apply only to the ritual performances, where strict prescriptions as to the place, time, and method of the performance are to be implicitly followed. In the contemplative life, such restrictions no longer bind a person. He has escaped out of the physical rigidity of ritual religious performance into the freedom of mental contemplation of the divine. With such a clear enunciation of the principles of worship, one would have expected to find the people able to follow them without difficulty. But it is mystifying to find that something akin to almost utter confusion prevails. The average person seems to prefer to stick to the bondage of ritual life. So that's what I was talking about. With such a clear enunciation of principles of worship, one would have expected to find the people able to follow them without difficulty. But it's mystifying to find that something akin to almost utter confusion prevails. The average person seems to prefer to stick to the bondage of ritual life. It has this attraction that so long as one obeys the priestly injunctions for a stated period of time, generally curtailed to a few minutes a day, he enjoys a liberty that is almost permissive the rest of the time. In contemplated life, or life of the mystic, there is a freedom that does not exist on the lower level of existence, but this freedom appears unattractive to most persons as it carries within itself the need for responsible action by the person. Such a person has to prescribe for himself the ethical and moral values that guide his life. No longer can he merely obey a set of rules, often elastically interpreted by his priestly guide. Now the onus of leading a right life is on him and on him alone. So the apparent freedom of the spiritual life seems to have hidden within it the greater bondage of self-discipline, self-control, and so on, culminating into the principle of self-surrender. When this is understood, people seem to prefer the total lack of freedom during a specific time period under the ritual life to the apparent freedom of the contemplative life. Okay, again, that's from a chapter called Way of the Spirit, but it goes on from there. And I've remembered that from time to time, as I have, the role that I play here now on this YouTube channel, my brief work or my time working as a preceptor in the system, just in general, that people will always gravitate to the lower and the perceived easier. Unfortunately, Christianity has just one sort of level. And then people my mom did these charismatic prayer meetings, which was more interactive, more participatory, but people want the bare minimum. Go to church, how can I get off as easily as possible? And in India, they make these deals with these oftentimes quack, charlatan gurus, scammers, grifters, who will prescribe certain rituals, certain practices, or they will do something themselves, some performative bullshit thing, and they'll negotiate a price with the person, and the person pays the price, and then because God and religion is so stressed in India, it's stressed to you as a young age, like he was talking about, that they want to have the religious part in a very OCD type of way, where it stresses them out, and they've been told that they need to do this as a part of their culture. Now, of course, every culture around the world is getting westernized and modernized, but certainly back then when Master Charji wrote this book in 1960 something or other, the 1960s, this was, I think, originally published in 1975. He started the year I was born, 1964. Again, he was St. Paul, who was referenced by Tucker Carlson about Charlie Kirk, and was referenced again. Saul was referenced again in this video about the martyr Stephen, right? And St. Paul was there. But this Master Charji, you can see how well written this is, and how I don't want to say intellectual, but it's more sophisticated than what you find like in the Bible and some of these other things, right? And more human, more like easier to connect to, right? But India at that time, and for years, I mean, it's just a slow drip, drip, drip of lesser and lesser commitment to God. There's God everywhere. Even now, there's temples everywhere. God's just a huge part of the culture in ways that you really can't understand till you see it, right? But most of the people aren't really motivated to be godly people, and they have so many people there. And they have such horrible material lives, many of them, such, overwhelming, crushing, soul-crushing poverty and stressful lives. They rely on God. I mean, that's part of that, but they really don't have the time and energy to put into a spiritual life because they're just surviving. I mean, if you're going to understand the poverty in America is nothing like the poverty in India, right? So, and you have a lot of people who don't have the ability for abstract thought. They're just underdeveloped, not enough protein. Some of them are small, living short lives, short, difficult lives. But they have these two tracks, right? Just like you'll see, like there is an honors level track, and then there's the average, what everyone who's kind of average, and then there's the people who excel. You find this gifted and talented programs here in America. And so you have this more, where you can commit more of your time and energy to your godly pursuit. And it's real. It's not just bullshit rituals that don't work and other performative things that you do, right? Superficial things. Like you see in this degraded thing with Charlie Kirk's memorial. For those of you listening to this on Journey Series, this is about the horrific, gaudy memorial service that they had for Charlie Kirk in the stadium. And it's just so not subtle, right? And so, the subtle means of achieving God means that you have to be subtle yourself. And you got to get rid of all the grosser, addictive, performative, superficial aspects of yourself and dive deep within. And, it takes effort. It takes effort not only to do it, but also how you live your life, because when you do grosser things and you expose yourself to grosser content and materials without, some conscious commitment to block or protect yourself from ingesting the graphic nature of American life or life anywhere in the world, all the gross stuff that's out there. If you're looking at gross things, the stuff that's porn, like porn and violence porn and, this religious porn that they're putting out there, political porn and, just the lowest level, wrestling porn, all this stuff. The degraded, low vibrational shit, right? And when you ingest that in heavy metal music and, whatever, all these things, things that have really coarse vibrations, then that goes into your system and it blocks your ability to be subtle and feel God's subtle love. Like people crave God's love but can't feel it, or crave love in general, but you're too gross to feel it, right? And so, this is a plague on humanity. And I've thought about this quite often recently, how just people gravitate to the lowest level of bullshit. And what passes for religious worship in this fucking gaudy-ass performance by a supposed grieving widow and the President of the United States and all these other people who are just degraded in every possible way. It's not subtle. And, the issue here is people just don't want God in God's true form. They don't want to experience God. They want something gross. They want something with bells and whistles, and they just want to be stimulated. And now these kids who grow up today in these, with this low attention span and needing constant stimulation because of the internet and the way that they, the stuff that they're watching and participating in. And so, subtlety, it just isn't there. And, it would be depressing for me, but I know that there is a possible remedy in the form of the collapse of the system. When you break free from the system, you go camping, you go to some spiritual retreat, you go do something that's, more real, more godly, more subtle. And if you can break free from your devices and all these things, you see people, and even before devices, people were, gross and overstimulated, but now You have this, these things, your computer in your pocket, and you're just, it's just always there dominating your existence and the society that we have. So when this system goes down, there'll be an opportunity. And so a lot of what I present here is hopefully, going to stick with people when this situation happens, when there's a collapse of the system. And there's an opportunity to embrace God in the subtle form and do something real. And I don't have much faith in humanity, but I know there's a chance, right? And because there's a chance and there's hope, you might as well keep it open. But, these kind of things that I'm seeing now are so, hopeless because of just the degradation of humanity. And these tendencies that humanity has all over the world, where there is, a higher level of spirituality, real spirituality, where you have a relationship with the divinity within you. But you have to give up a lot for that. And you have to give up more and more over time. And that's, in fact, the rest of the talk there. I chose not to read it because I want to keep this video shorter. But it talks about that, right? You're giving up more and more freedom over time, and you're relying more and more on God, or you're surrendering your ability to choose things, and just doing God's work, and you're deferring to God. So ultimately, you have no freedom. All you can ever do is what God wants you to do. You're giving up the freedom to choose to do the wrong thing. And people don't want to do that, especially here in America. So that's why we're all fucked here. So just a few comments I want to get to here. So there was a bunch of funny comments that came in last night. I'm just going to read them in order. So I made a 4-hour video. You're fucking kidding me with the 4 hours. Give us a break. The videos aren't mandatory. Now, when I made the video, I covered this whole thing, and I get into the whole contrasting Sajmark method and the way that they're talking about Christianity with Tucker Carlson and the Turning Point people. And, I felt like that talk was important, and so that's how I started the video. And then all these other things came in about this shooting possibly being fake. And before you know it, the video, which I thought would be 2 hours long, because I started the day before, ended up being 4 hours. I was doing it on a Sunday where I wanted to make a shorter video, but it was necessary. But I realized, no one's going to have time for a 4-hour video. I understand that. It's just, there's really nothing I could cut out. I mean, you can always edit certain things out. You could clean things up, but I don't have the time to do that. And, it would still only be 20 minutes shorter, right? The ideas and the content had to be said. And, it's taxing on me. But some people, might want to listen to it. I mean, the video I'm making today, I wanted to keep short too. So, but it's not mandatory, right? There's no reason to be exacerbated. You're not going to be quizzed on it. This other person writes, what would Charlie Kirk do? Shilled for the foreign government to gaslight college student. What would Charlie Kirk do? Charlie Kirk, what would Jesus do? Charlie Kirk shilled for a foreign government to gaslight college students about a genocide. And the person says, you're wrong. It's belief, no works. Read your Bible for clarification, but you're not a believer, so I'll pray for you. Jesus is the only means to the ones who knew better. So let's say that was true, but it's not. So you have a religion that you were born into, and you're told it's the best religion. But just like with anything else, you could be told this is the best, whatever it might be, right? It's the best pie. It's the best, And if you only had one pie, you're going to think it's the best, right? And you go to some other place and they say, hey, we have the best pie. You go, no. Have you ever see the movie Elf, where Will Ferrell goes into a diner? He's like, congratulations. And they're like, what? You got the world's best coffee in here. I mean, you just think it's the best. And so I can say from the, 32 years I've been doing the spirituality, meditation, Sajmark system, that when I hear people talk about their Christian beliefs, either in common form or I tune into things that are on, that are there, it's kindergarten. It's like listening to like little children talk about something. And I'm not saying that to be demeaning or to say how much better I am. I'm doing a better system. Maybe you'd be better at that system than I would be if you did it. But you're staying locked into something that you think is the best, and it just isn't. And the stuff that you see now from Charlie Kirk and these other people, that isn't even Christianity. Politics and all these other things, the shilling for insurance companies and phone companies and things that are supposed to be Christian and all these other things, it's not spiritual. It's not religious even. It's not Christian. It's just, they say Christian things, but they're not practicing Christianity. They're grifting, right? And so the religion itself is limited, but they're not even doing that, right? And so this person writes, Mr. Pocket Full, I'm pocket full. I have listened to you for a long time. What happened that now every other word is fuck? You are articulate. Why are you choosing a word that could have punch if not used so often? It's not every other word. Like I'm barely, like for one, it's weird that I'm getting all these comments. This person who writes this, there's no check mark next to his name. I've never seen the name before. So I don't think I've ever gotten a comment from this person, right? But the person writes out fuck. Every other word is fuck, and they make the fuck capitalized. And so it's weird that this is what people are saying. Given what's going on in the world, that's what you're concerned about, me swearing, right? And I don't know where these people are coming from. But, and then a bunch of people wrote, what would Jesus do video Charlie Kirk shilled, where he was shilling for this company called Patriotic Mobile or something, or I don't know what it is. It was some Patriot mobile phone service. And a bunch of people said that he said they believe in faith, family, freedom. And I got at least 6 or 7 comments where people are saying faith, family, freedom, and that's the 6th letter of the alphabet, so that's 666. And of course, she threw up the 666 in this one. And then somebody wrote to that same phone ad, I was on the salvation plan with Patriot Mobile until I found out they were illegally collecting my data and selling it to Jesus, which I thought was a funny comment. So that's about it. That's where I am with all of it. It's just so gross that it's a mess out there. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Balramano, definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.